Hello YouTube, it's me again, and I'm here to talk about SIMPS. SIMPS are, I think, the topic of the day these days. It's something that I think progressive black men realize needs to be addressed, it needs to be dealt with. What I want to talk about is the fact that SIMPS represent a paradox. They operate in a paradox. According to SIMPS, the black woman is a god. And at the very least, she's a co-god. She's a co-god with the black man. So say Hoteps. So say pro-blacks. So say male feminists. They seem to believe that the black woman is perfect. Yet they don't factor in the dysfunction that has taken place over the past 40 years and associate it with black women. They don't do that. They say that the co-god, the black man, is responsible. So somehow an imbalance has taken place. The black man is no longer operating according to this balanced co-deity system that they often refer to. They fail to do several things. First of all, I don't agree with their model, but nevertheless, you would think that if you were a believer in this model, you would be looking for the source of the imbalance. But that's something that they don't do. They simply look at the black male, they look at the dysfunction that they see, and they attribute it to his inadequacies, and that the black woman could not, did not play any role in those dysfunctions. She's a goddess, but she's not accountable. She has nothing to do with the awful state of the black community. The fact that she has 70 to 80% of her children outside of wedlock is not her fault. She's a goddess, but she's incapable of regulating her body, which she insists is hers and her domain, and that she has exclusive rights. So the pro-black Hotep believes in a woman who is a goddess that has no power over her own reproductive organs. I find that paradoxical. I find it hilarious if the consequences of this behavior was not so severe and devastating to black America. The Hotep wants you to believe that the black man, who they also state is a co-god, is completely out of alignment. And they put that blame on the black man without any hesitation. And it makes me wonder what it is that they believe has caused the black man to go so far astray. Now, when I look at this, if I try to look at it within their paradigm, the black man has to be a moral deviant, without conscience, without any dignity. It is something that is innate to him, and he never could have, should have experienced any other behavior except for this, because this behavior is not related to the black woman, and the black woman is a god without fault. So the black man has to be a god who was designed on faults. So says the pro-black Hotep. It's an interesting thing. It makes me wonder, according to their theory, how could any black civilization have ever thrived? And in history, we know that many black civilizations thrived. So how could that be if the black man is a natural born deviant? See, there's no cause and effect in their paradigm. The black man, whatever his shortcomings, they are of his own fault. He's responsible. No one else. Just him. So I find that very interesting. If you go back into history, let's say we go to the Songhai Empire, what was it that caused those black men to behave in balance with the black woman, which they so desperately needed in order to be powerful? So says the Hotep. I don't know. I can't put their model into any practical perspective. It doesn't hold up. If I use it to examine and analyze other civilizations, I'm unable to do so. I'm unable to do so because their model exists in a vacuum. The black man is in a vacuum, the black woman is in a vacuum. They could not have possibly ever coexisted together. And thus, there is no solution to the problems of black people. So says the Hotep and the pro-black and the black feminists. It's just not possible. Now, let's take a look at these black feminists, Hoteps, and pro-blacks. And let's assume that they're not rational thinkers. They're not capable of providing leadership because they're not capable of providing analysis. They're stuck in a vacuum. They can't get out of the vacuum. In fact, they hate black men. The pro-black, the Hotep, and the black feminist is the man responsible for the murder of other black men. This so-called black-on-black crime, they are the perpetrators of this phenomenon. It's no one else, it's them. Because if you listen to their speech, there is a definite hatred towards black men. And one can easily envision that under duress and with their hearts and minds full of anger, killing a black man would be easy for these men who see black men having 100% responsibility for the dysfunction of the black community, which they claim to love, but they clearly only love one half of their community. They don't love the whole thing. These people are so interesting because when black women, let's just deal with the Hoteps, they love Cleopatra and they claim she is a black woman, though history could tell you that she was one of the first of the Greek rulers of Egypt. But she brings Egypt to ruin through her fornications with first Julius Caesar and then Mark Antony. And yet they see nothing wrong with that. In fact, they talk about her as if she is a true goddess and a savior of the people of Egypt, but she was nothing of the sort. These same people justify every black female adultery against the black nation without a blink. they feel that any and all things that she does is justified, and that a black man is responsible for any of her inequities. And she loves that. She is absolutely in love with that level of thinking, because she can do anything. She can misbehave, and misbehave, and not be accountable for her misbehavior. And there's a group of men who will kill other men who want to hold her accountable. And that's an interesting thing. This is my conclusion. I'm not going to draw this out. I think you all know where I'm going and what I think. What I'm going to say is this, that the Hotep, the black feminist male, and the pro-black who holds this female supremacist view is an enemy to the rest of us. Now, that could mean that the majority of black men are the enemies of the progressive, thinking, strong black males that exist in our society. So, you know, we are quickly approaching economic devastation in the United States. It may happen this year, it may not. All the indicators point to an economic collapse in the next few months, but I would have been able to say the same thing in 2008, 2009, etc., and it has not taken place. So I'm not going to say that as if I believe that it's inevitable. But what I will tell you is that when things do come apart, and when the black community, which will be hit harder than any other community, moves into disarray, the only way to prevent this from consuming every single black person is to eliminate these Hoteps, these black male feminists, and these pro-blacks. They will protect those parasites at the expense of the greater community. There's no ands, if, or buts about it. That's what they'll do, and they need to be dealt with. And you need to have that mindset when we come into crisis. We have a problem that we're going to have to solve. And you are the solution to that problem. With that, I'm going to ask you to like this video, to subscribe if you're not subscribing, and share this video if you agree with it and think that someone could benefit from its content. Thank you very much.